You can't buy everything with money, but it sure is nice to have. Today, I'm gonna show you the top 4 coin making methods so you can become rich, starting with the easiest method that anyone can do and to the hardest method you can only do late game. Let's get started. So for this first method, it's going to be a black marketeer glitch that anyone can do. You want to come to this location where I am at. It's by Alpha Boss, Pen King, and King Paka. Coordinates are 23 and -430. You'll be on top of the mountain. Follow the path I take to make it to the entrance of the mine shaft. Make your way inside. Just follow the straight path all the way to the end until you reach the black marketeer. Now first thing we'll need is the hanging trap. But before you place it down, if you have some coins already, talk to him and see if he has any pals you want to buy. But stay on the lookout for a Lunaris because it'll come in handy for one of the other methods. Once you're done looking, build a hanging trap underneath his foot in a way where his foot is inside the circle like so. Next, go to the food section and place down a campfire underneath his head and build. For people who aren't strong enough yet, this will kill him. With the campfire, it'll take about a minute for him to die. But to be able to get coins from him, we need to damage him. Do it from behind him because if he sees you deal damage, he will escape the trap and call out his pal, and you will most likely die. He is level 40, so he's pretty strong, but also don't use any explosives or any AoE attacks. It will break the trap and he will escape, so let the campfire do the work if you don't have any weapons strong enough to kill him. Once he dies, go up to him and delete the campfire and the hanging trap. Once you collect the drops, you'll get about 11,000 coins and a gold key. If you do this for about an hour straight, you can make about 600,000 gold. And for early game, you can buy a whole lot of OP items and pals with that. But to be able to respawn the black marketeer, you used to be able to place down a pal box in the mine shaft and fast travel from one location to another, and it would respawn. But now you either have to leave the mine shaft and fly away and come back, or you can quit the title and log back in, which is what I would do. Now that we are back, you'll see that he is respawned. Go and repeat the previous steps again. Check what he's selling, place down a trap and a campfire, and shoot him behind his back. Once he's dead, pick up the loot and repeat. For this next method, come to this part of the map. We are going to be capturing Relaxaurus. These next methods are for people who don't want to use glitches, so come to this area where I'm at. It's at coordinates -226 and -442. You can do this method pretty early on as well. All I'm using is just a crossbow to deal damage to these pals. You can obviously use your pal's attack as well, just make sure they don't die before you can capture them. You can also use a regular pal sphere to capture them, but with that being said, this will obviously go much faster if you have a higher level weapon and sphere. But in this clip, I'm just going to use the basics just to show you that a lower level player can do this as well. Capture as many as you can because we will be selling them. The more you capture, the more money you'll get. Once you've captured a good amount, come back to the black marketeer from before and just sell it to him. Each one sells for about 2,000 gold coins, and I only captured 10 of them. If we go and sell them all to him, we'll get about 23,000 coins. Now, if you want, you can turn up the world settings for pal appearances to be able to capture even more pals in just one run. But to be able to capture more Relaxauruses, you'll want to wait a full in-game day for them to respawn and go hunting again. For this third method, you want to come next to Anubis at coordinates -140 and -121. We want to capture a few Dictoys. This method is going to be a mid-tier semi-AFK method, but it does require some setting up. Roam around this area looking for a Dictoys, preferably not right next to Anubis. Once you find one, damage it and capture it. Just like the Relaxaurus, it's not that high of a level. You can use a crossbow and a megasphere to capture it if that's all you have, along with your pal attack. Just make sure to capture it before it dies. I also recommend getting the Ring of Mercy just so you don't have to worry about accidentally killing it. But regardless, we want to capture about 12 of them to build an ingot farm. Once you capture them all, come back to your base. This can be your main base or your secondary base if you have it unlocked. We are now going to start building the farm. The first thing we want to build is the ore mining site, which you can unlock at level 24. Now, the reason we captured 12 dig toys is because each one of these ore sites can take up to 3 pals. And we want to place down 4 ore sites, but this really all depends on how many pal slots you have unlocked for your base. I currently have 15. But as you'll see, I have everything in my base laid out like I am level 25, just so I can portray accurate information for those around this level as well. I have my 4 ore mining sites, I have the feed box, just a basic chest for my ores, the basic hot spring, a few beds. I also have the primitive furnace just to make ingots, the high quality workbench to make nails, and finally the monitoring stand to be able to assign pals to the mining site so they don't start doing other tasks that we don't want them to do. And with that being said, if we go take a look at the pals we'll be using, they are nothing special. They are not bred for farming, they are just wild caught pals that anyone can go and capture, along with 2 transportation pals. This isn't necessary, but when you're away from base or AFK, they will put the ores in the chest for you. So if you have the space, definitely add them. Combats are good early game transportation pals, which you can also capture pretty easily. Once you put all the pals in your base, you can head to the monitoring stand and assign the pals to go to specific mining sites, so if you have rocks around your base, they won't go mine those. This is especially useful for pals who can do more than one task and keep leaving their jobs to do something else. But as far as food goes, all I really have is just a bunch of cooked berries. It's not the best food, but they won't starve and die if I step away. But now for the kindling part of things, we don't want to use a low tier pal like fox sparks because that will take way too long. So while these guys do their thing mining ores, we want to go and get ourselves a Ragnarok. It has a level 3 kindling and as a bonus a level 3 in transportation as well. But if we take a look at their habitat, we can only get them in these high level areas, and for players that are around level 25, I don't recommend doing that. You will have a bad time. So instead, we are going to breed it. We can do that by breeding Azarope with the Relaxaurus. And the best part about this is that you can get this late game pal at around level 19, since that is when you'll be able to unlock the breeding farm. So what I recommend is capturing at least 1 male and female Relaxaurus, which you can get in this area, and whatever gender Azarope is will have the opposite one ready to go. So once you've captured a few Relaxaurus, head over to Azarope. He'll be at coordinates -49 and -389. Now Azarope is only level 17, but still has a decent amount of health. So if you don't have a strong pal yet, you can use the Dictoys that we captured earlier. And like before, I'm just using a regular crossbow. You'll see that even a Megasphere was able to capture him. So you really don't need anything super strong, and since we only need 1, we don't need to get good gear to farm him as fast as possible. And from here, we just go back to our base and we just throw them in the breeding farm and wait for them to breed. Now that they are finished breeding, just pick up the egg and put it in the incubator. I have it so that my eggs incubate instantly. You can do that too by changing the settings in the world settings option in the menu, but once it's incubated, you are free to use Ragnarok. Not only is he strong early game, he has level 3 kindling and transportation. And also me being dumb, I didn't realize that Ragnarok was already in my party, but wherever you want to leave him is fine. But I'm just going to put him in the base just so he can help with transportation as well. So now that we have everything set up, I'm going to AFK for about 30 minutes just to see how much we get. It's been roughly 40 minutes that I've been AFK, and we got 681 ores. So in about an hour we would get 1,000 ores or so. But also make sure to check the mining sites to see if there's anything left over. Now smell all the ores that you have, because we are going to need to craft as many nails as possible. And since now we have Ragnarok, this shouldn't take too long, just a few minutes at the most. Once you have all your ingots, bring it over to the workbench and craft them into nails. With the nails, it takes 1 ore to craft 2 nails, so in this case I'm getting 700 nails. And if you recall earlier on in the video, I said to keep an eye out for Lunaris when dealing with the black marketeer. It's for this moment. Lunaris has a level 3 handiwork, which is 1 lower than Anubis with a level 4 handiwork. But for being around level 20, having Lunaris this early on is insanely helpful. Now, when it's all done crafting, we can either go to any wandering merchant and sell it. There is one right by the starting area in a town called Small Settlement at coordinates 74 and -484. Or what you can do is capture a wandering merchant so you can spawn one in your base. That way is so much easier. But make sure he is in your base and not in your party, or else you won't be able to open up the buy and sell menu. And as you can see, with about 40 minutes of AFK and about 5 minutes of smelting, we got 14,000 coins. This is nowhere near the best method to make money, but for an early AFK method where you can just set things up and forget about it, it's not bad at all. Now, for this fourth and final method, it's going to be another AFK method like the last one, but jacked on steroids. The two main things that we are going to need are the ore mining site number 2, which you can unlock at level 38, and the gold coin assembly line, which you can unlock at level 48. This is what's going to make you millions of coins. Now, everything else is up to you. At around level 50, you should have the basic knowledge on how to breed good pals and what pals are best for what, along with what is needed to keep the base running while you're away. My choice of pal for this method is going to be 15 fully bred and condensed Astegon. You can use any pal you want, but this is what I'm going with today. They have the passive skill Vampiric, so they work through the night and don't have to sleep, Mastery of Fasting, so they stop less to eat, Lucky and Remarkable Craftsmanship for faster working speeds. I also have 4 fully bred and condensed Yormantide with working passive skills for smelting, and 3 Anubis for handiwork, and 1 Wumpo Botan for the transporting. Go and assign your pals to their designated duties and just let it run. I have 5 mining sites with 3 pals in each except for 1. I also recommend making hamburgers if you can. They give a 50% boost to work speed as well, and they replenish a good amount of sanity. But with that being said, I'm going to AFK for about 30 minutes and we'll see the amount of ores we made. 30 minutes is up and we mined a whopping 35,000 ores. That's pretty insane if you ask me. But just the ores are useless to us in this instance. We need ingots. So I'm going to head over to my pal box and put away my Astegons. Realistically, you'll only need to put away as many as you're planning to put in, but regardless, I'm going to put in my 4 Yormantide and my 3 Anubis so we can get to smelting and crafting. And after a quick 5 minutes of smelting, I'm left with about 17,000 ingots. Now for about 35 to 40 minutes of AFK, that is completely insane compared to method 3 where we only smelted 350 ingots. But from then, just put everything in the gold coin assembly line. You can only put about 10,000 in at a time. So if you have 2 assembly lines, that's going to be even faster. Now I'm going to keep this part in the video just to show y'all how many coins I got, because no matter what else you do in the game, there is nothing that is going to get you this much coins this fast. This is about 4 minutes of just coin crafting. So after all the process, I have roughly 2.5 million coins. I only had about 800,000 before that. So in total, for about 30 minutes of AFK and 10 minutes of processing time, I gained a whopping 1.7 million coins. So now imagine you leave this going in the background while you play the game for a few hours. Insane. And what's even better is that there's so many ways to improve this method. This is just the basic way. You can increase the number of pals you can put in the base settings so you can add more mining sites. You can put down multiple furnaces, multiple assembly lines, and you can also turn up the intensity in the monitoring stand. And you can also upgrade your coin tap in the research station. There's so many ways you could improve this method, you just have to see what works for you. So with that being said, those are the top 4 ways to farm coins in this game. There are plenty of other ways to farm coins, but in my opinion, these are the best and fastest way with as little work as possible. But if you have any other methods you think is even better, put it down in the comments. I'd love to check it out. But that's going to be it for today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and peace out.